together at Christmas, bringing everyone closer.
John Darvall.
Be part of it.
BBC Radio Bristol.
So this month we've been shining a light on local people who are doing their bit to bring people together at Christmas. Now Alvhurst runs Caring at Christmas in Bristol. It's a pop-up hub at Trinity Centre. It opens during Christmas week, offering somewhere to go, somewhere to eat some food, maybe watch a movie, perhaps even get a haircut. And it is the biggest homeless support project of its kind in the southwest. And Alvy is with me here right now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you this afternoon?
I'm very good.
Are you ready?
We will be ready. There's a tremendous amount of work, and the team that runs the project are working so hard to bring it all together, and each day we just see it happening, and we will be ready. We're always ready.
37 years you've been doing this now, isn't it?
It is something like that, yeah. We started off as a Christmas project, and Caring in Bristol came out of that Christmas project, and we retained it because it's still needed year on year on year. It's evolved. People's needs have evolved, but it is still very, very much needed in the city.
Homelessness is, there are many layers to the homeless story.
There are.
Not least of which that street homelessness
Yes.
is just one of them.
It is.
There are people who are sleeping on sofas. There are people who are between homes. Circumstances can change. There will be people that you will be helping next week who maybe this time last year their world was turning rather well. That's the truth.
It is the truth. It can all change so very, very quickly, and we sometimes take things in our lives for granted.
Yeah.
If we have a good network of people around us, if we have savings, if we have the confidence to try and navigate the different systems that we face, then we're probably going to be okay. But there's so many people in our city who don't have that knowledge, don't have that confidence, and don't have the network and financial backing to survive something which I think is a disaster when homelessness hits.
And as I say, we know that this has been an issue that they've tried to tackle. Many have tried to tackle. It hasn't been tackled, and here we are, 37 years on. You're doing your bit there, which is quite extraordinary when you think about it. Because you think, well, why are we still getting this? Why are people needing you? Ideally, you shouldn't exist.
We would hope so, and that would be our mission, not to be needed. But we're in a situation where we don't have systems that are good enough to react quickly enough when people get into that crisis situation. One of the big things that we are very keen to do is prevent homelessness. So a lot of our work is targeting people's situations before it happens, so it never gets to that point. We know that homelessness isn't inevitable. We just need the resources to be able to make that so.
I think the reality of homelessness in 2025 is probably not what it was 35, 37 years ago. Things have changed. And of course, what you do is not just give a meal, is it? This is not what you do for the Christmas week.
Definitely not.
So talk us. No, exactly. So this is an important distinction, isn't it? I mentioned there you can watch a movie and get a haircut.
Sure.
But a haircut is a very interesting thing in its own right, because this is about you. And this is about a very basic but a rather important element of self-care. Everyone feels better when they've had their haircut.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Apart from me, haven't got any.
But if you didn't shave your head, for example, and you let what's there grow,
Sure.
When you shave your head, you'd feel better, wouldn't you?
Well-being happens to us on so many different levels, and of course we want people to be warm. Of course we want people to have a good, nutritious meal, but our well-being is wider than that. We want people to feel cared for. We want people to feel that they have dignity and respect for themselves, and they can get that. They come in, our volunteers are just amazing. They welcome people. They let them know what's available to them. And each day people are addressing elements of what they need to feel better. It might be a haircut. It might be getting their laundry sorted. It might be that personal shopper experience that we set up so that people can come, meet a volunteer and find out what they need for clothing. And that's about choice. It's about dignity. And it's about the things that we take for granted because they're very basic things, but they get stripped from you when you...
I wonder whether that's probably one of the most powerful things you do in this week, is those... There are many soup kitchens in inverted commas, but giving somebody a chance to have a moment of care, a moment of dignity, a moment of connection to the real world, that the world's not now passing them by, that they're putting their toe back into it. That is incredibly powerful.
And I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because homelessness is something that is so easy to walk past. We've all done it. Of course.
We've all done it.
But it's something that is around us all the time. You talked earlier about street homelessness being the tip of the iceberg, but there are people in our communities who really don't have a place to call their own. They may be sleeping on your neighbour's sofa. They may be...
And that sofa may not be available at Christmas because they have family coming. Sorry, mate, you're going to have to move out for a week.
Exactly. And that's why we're there, because at Christmas, perhaps things are closed down or are working at a reduced capacity. And if we weren't there, then people will be pushed closer to a crisis. Things needn't get that far. That's why we're there, to pull people back and to give them an experience that really sets them up for the next year, and to understand that people in Bristol do care.
Well, we know they care because you're supported, and against a backdrop of this year has been very difficult for a lot of charities.
Yes.
Funding from local government has dried up because it's had to, and people have been very worried about their own finances. How have you found the year?
It's a tougher and tougher environment to work in, but I think people in Bristol really do step up. We're currently in the middle of our Christmas appeal, and people in Bristol are donating to us. It's helping us to run this project and our projects throughout the year for young people to prevent homelessness. So,
because this isn't just, caring in Bristol is not just a Christmas thing, is it? As you say, this is a point of the year,
yes,
but not the point of caring of Christmas or caring in Bristol.
No, absolutely. Our organisation started off as a Christmas project, and people at the time realised that a response was needed all year round, and that's what we do. Every single night of the year we have a shelter for young people who would otherwise be out on the street, and every day our workers are out in the community creating lasting change with information, with advice and support, and that's what's needed, and it's keeping people away from that crisis situation.
So that's, before we move on to perhaps how people can also get involved, maybe listening to BBC Radio Bristol right now, that is the important part of what you do now, isn't it? It is stopping those from ending up on the street and helping those who may be sofa surfing,
yes,
find a more permanent place,
absolutely,
where they can say, I live here.
It's so important.
Which we take for granted.
We do.
Because we take for granted, you and I take for granted, I live here, this is my address, it's on my driving licence and everything else.
Yeah.
Imagine not having that. I mean, it's just extraordinary when you say that out loud.
It is, and I think, it's a very sobering thought. If any of us, if anyone listening just stops and thinks, what would my life be like if I didn't have this home? If I was out there on a day like today in Bristol, it's raining. If it was colder, what would that be like? It's beyond our comprehension, and yet there are people close by us in the city who are experiencing that now.
Especially simply put it by saying, I need to write to you. How? I can't apply for anything because nobody can write to me.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. Now, there'll be loads listening today to us on BBC Radio Bristol. One of the things we've been doing with Together at Christmas is perhaps helping those get involved in things that they may not have ever done before because their world has changed. Yeah. People are no longer with us this Christmas that were with us last Christmas. Yeah. Life can take a turn. And volunteering is one way of perhaps putting your toe back in the world of social interaction, because you may feel everything's contracted. I know someone like you is always looking for people who may want to help and do the work you do. Not just for Christmas, but throughout the year. Absolutely. And we really depend on volunteers to do what we do. We need almost 500 volunteers over Christmas to make it happen, and they're incredible. But the thing is, it is about the city's response to homelessness, and volunteering
is a reflection on that. So when people sign up on our website to volunteer, they know that they're going to be making an impact, and that impact is lasting change. It's making someone's life different, not just today, but going forward. So that,
give a little bit.
Absolutely. And time is such a powerful thing to donate.
Why did you get involved in this?
I have always volunteered ever since I was 18.
Why?
It just feels that it's something that you should do. I grew up in an era where we were told that we were just individuals and we got to look after ourselves. I didn't agree with that. I felt that community was something that was really powerful, and that when we join together, amazing things can happen. And wherever I've worked, in whatever situation I've been, when communities come together and do things together, amazing things happen. Caring at Christmas is just a perfect example of that. All these people in Bristol coming together and doing something that is phenomenal and life-changing for people.
So, to anybody who's listening to you and me talk, as we finish our time together this afternoon, who might think about volunteering but is nervous about making that call or sending that email or popping in and saying, do you need any help? What's your answer?
If they go onto our website, caringinbristol.org.uk, they'll see all the information they need. There's stories from volunteers, there's videos they can watch, and they can get a sense of what it's like. We really look after our volunteers. They're so important. And if someone's thinking about it, perhaps it's time to start acting on that thought. You'll change your own life and you'll change someone else's too.
Alf, great to have you back with us. Thank you so much for being with us as well. Al Hurst there, who runs Caring at Christmas. It's part of caringinbristol.org. Is that right there? Is that the website?
.org.uk.
.org.uk. caringinbristol.org.uk. You'll see testimonies there from volunteers who've been part of Caring in Bristol and Caring at Christmas. I wish you every success next week.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in.